how to configure the BGP and how to configure the BGP multipath. Actually, let's start with what BGP multipath is. By default, BGP will select only one active route using the best path mechanism, but we can override this behavior by configuring multipath. What this means is R2 and R3 will send the same route to R1. BGP will apply the best path algorithm and will select only one route, and it will install it in its routing table. But we can bypass this, and we can install two identical routes in the R1's routing table, and maybe we can do also some load balancing with it. So in order to install both routes in R1's routing table, you just specify the multipath in the BGP local group configuration. And actually this is a good idea to see how to configure the BGP in general. For R1 we can have two interfaces. This is the interface configuration on R2 and on R3. We specify the type of BGP, which in this case is external. We specify the peer autonomous system number, which is 2 in our case. Also specified multipath. We specify the neighbors. The first one is R2, the second one is R3, and on the opposite side we are doing the same thing but in reverse. So what is the difference after applying the multipath? Before multipaths, when we show route 1.1.1.1, we can see that BGP selected just one active route, and this is this one, and the second route is not active. And after applying multipath, we can see that we can have two routes to the same destination, and both routes are active. Also, after we configure the BGP multipath, we can enable load balancing. And you enable load balancing by specifying it in a policy. And the policy looks like this. Set policy option, policy statement, load balance, then load balance per packet. And we apply the load balancing policy in the forwarding table as an export policy. So this is before the load balancing, and this is after load balancing. Also the multi-hop peering. At the beginning of this lecture I mentioned that for eBGP you can override the default behavior, which states that the time to live for it is 1. You can bypass this and you can use a higher time to live. For example, here for the external BGP we specify multi-hop time to live 2. This means that the eBGP message will travel now 2 hops before the packet will be lost or dropped or expired. And how to configure BGP? It's not so complicated, but it is not so easy. First of all, you will need to remember the states which we discussed at the beginning. Let's go to the states. We should know that the established is the state that it shows us that the BGP is up, and the rest of the states are not good. If your BGP peer will be stuck in active, then it means that the connection doesn't work, and most probably you have some misconfiguration at the interface level, or you cannot reach your BGP peer. So the best thing to do is to check the logs. In the logs you will find most of the time you will find what is wrong. So if you found out what is wrong, you can fix the problem. And what can go wrong is that interfaces are not correctly configured or they are down. The autonomous system is not correctly configured, and you can have cases where the BGP type is not correctly configured. So you should fix all the problems that you have, and check if the BGP neighborship is established, and you can do that by issuing show BGP summary or show BGP neighbor and the neighbor name. BGP will work most of the time, and as I said, the logs for BGP are pretty good, and it will tell you what is wrong, and you will easily understand what you need to fix. But as I mentioned in other lectures, you can have cases where everything is fine, everything is correctly configured. There are no log messages, or maybe there are log messages but they are not relevant, but the BGP is still not going up. So in that case, you can configure the trace options like I specified here, open a JTAG case, and hopefully somebody from JTAG will help you solve the problem. So on a quick side note, like I said, you can find the video series links in the description, and you can watch these videos chronologically. You can also hire me on Fiverr. I offer consulting and design services, troubleshooting and whatnot. And if you want to follow along with my Udemy courses, you will also find the discount codes in the description. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.